The From Table Arrange Monkey is a free feature available to everyone that dramatically improves the From Table experience that you actually get inside Excel natively. Now I'm just going to show you a quick demo of what I believe the problems are with the default setup. Is if we take this range of data that we have sitting here, it's tabular, but it's not a table. Now normally what I would do is I would press Control T to turn it into a table and I would get this dialog. But you'll notice there's a couple of things here that aren't working properly. Number one, it does not give us a way to define the name up front. It's going to create one called Table 1, which I will then need to rename. This is something a lot of users forget to do, but it just makes your workbook healthier, gives you a nice table of contents drop down, and all kinds of other things that are really beneficial. The second thing is this data is all text-based, and notice that it has not flagged that it has headers. Well, plainly we can see that it has what look to be headers here. So let me cancel this, and I'm going to show you what happens when we use the default built-in version that comes with Monkey Tools. So I'm going to go click over here where I have some sales data, and I'm going to press Control T. And what happens is when I press Control T, it brings up our dialog. And what you can see here is that Table 1 is highlighted. If I was happy with everything here, I could just press OK, and boom, everything's done. Actually, I just have to press Enter. I don't even have to click it. And it works just as fast as the regular Create Table dialog that Microsoft gives you. But we also have the ability to go and just type over and change the name here and say OK. So at this point, I'm going to hit Enter, and boom, there we go. We get a nice table, and you'll notice that it is indeed called Sales. I can do it all in one step. I'm going to show you another cool little feature here. Is I'm going to grab this table here, press Control T. I'm going to call this one Budgets. And one of the other cool things we do here is we give you the option to create a connection-only Power Query right on the spot. So I can now go and click OK. Not only will it turn it into a table, but it also loads the Power Query. And if we double click on it and take a look, we can see in the source step that it is calling from the correct budgets table. That's a good thing because it means we get the chance to name the table before the Power Query is created, rather than Excel's default way, which would be to create a Power Query against Table 1, and then when you rename Table 1, it blows up the Power Query. So that's not really cool. So this gives us the ability to deal with that right up front. Now there's multiple ways to trigger this dialog. Another one of them is to do this. Right click, Get Data from Table Arrange. Now what this will do is it's going to pull the data into Power Query, but we interrupt that to give you the same dialog, except missing one thing. Notice we get to name the table first, so I'm going to call it Categories. It has identified, unlike Excel's default, that my data does have headers. That's pretty cool, but you don't see the connection-only query box here. Why? Well, because we've triggered it from Get Data from Table Arrange, and therefore we know that it needs to go directly into Power Query so that we can then go and start making the correct assumptions for the things that we want to do. So there we go. That looks cool. I have my default set to load to connection only, so I'm going to hit Close and Load, and it will load to connection only for me right away. There we are. Now I do want to show you one more final thing over here, is that I have some numeric data. It's just a block of data, and this one obviously has no headers. So let's see what happens when we press Control T. Notice it comes up and it says, what would you like to call this? I'm just going to go and call this one something sensible like data. Notice it has not checked the box for my data has headers. And that's because we looked through it and we said, hey, this entire range is all numeric stuff. It doesn't appear to have anything across the top, so it probably doesn't have headers for you. Now, if you have headers, check the box, you're good to go. But we think that this is a smarter algorithm than what Excel provides by default and gets it right most of the time, where Excel's tends to get it wrong a lot of the time. Of course, I can also go and create a connection-only query here. And what you'll see is when I click OK, it's going to put in some default headers, column 1, 2, 3. And if I go and hop into Power Query and take a look here, what you'll see is that it has worked nicely. Here's my source step. There's the data range that we've set up. So it was named first, then the query created. Everything looks good. Now, whether you use Power Queries or not, even if you're just using the standard table features, I think you're going to find that this is a much more efficient way to create tables, and it gets you into the habit of naming them properly, which is a recommended practice to make sure your workbook stays healthy. Thanks for watching this episode of Using Monkey Tools. To get your own monkey, visit our website at monkeytools.ca. Or if you subscribe to Skillwave's Self-Service Business Intelligence Academy, you'll get a free annual pro license included with your subscription. And remember, Monkey Tools was developed to support better Excel and Power BI solutions. If you want to learn how to really master these tools, you should definitely check out our full course catalog at skillwave.training.